At the time of me recording this, it's been just under 1 month since the release of Helldivers 2, and that game came out swinging with near universal acclaim. Right now, it's got a very positive user review rating on Steam and a 4.46 out of 5 on PlayStation. Now, also, not that any of us really care, but Metacritic also gave it an 82%, which I personally feel is a little bit low, and IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. What's really cool is that popularity even took the developers by surprise, which did lead to some server issues very early on in the game's release for the first week or two, I'd say. Those have been rectified now. But regardless of that, players were still out there spreading democracy, liberating planets, killing robots, killing giant bugs, and overall just spreading the good word of liberty across the galaxy. Aside from all of that, though, Helldivers 2 also shows itself to be a pretty near perfect example of what a game, especially a live service game, should be. And that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today, just as a lesson, not only, to show us what we should be expecting from these game developers, but also just to vocalize it that this is something other developers should hold themselves to. This is a standard that they should all look towards meeting, and a product that's great they should all look to imitate in terms of accessibility, player support, and overall just love for what they've made. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I'm not even going to script at all, just because I want it to flow very naturally, and there's proof out there to back up what I'm saying. Feel free to look it up of your own accord if you feel the need to, or if you don't believe anything that I'm saying, but the proof is out there, and that is just the support that the developers have given not only to this game, but to the community as well. We're in a time right now where a lot of developers, you'll constantly hear kind of negative press about them, right? Whether it's, Ubisoft telling us that we need to get used to not owning our games, or it's a certain person who develops a certain franchise and has replastered the game more times than I can count to just buy a better PC. It's very refreshing to see so many interactions from a developer, and to see them not only backing their product with updates and changes that are necessary for the enjoyment of the players, but also to be there to directly support those players and have an open line of communication and transparency. When Helldivers 2 first launched, as I said, probably the biggest issue that players were running into, myself included, was issues with the servers, and the number one thing being the server caps. And that's just because the developers, truthfully, as they've said, did not expect this game to be as big as it was, and I think that's great. Success is a great problem to have, love to see it, especially for a game like this. And they've gone in a few times, I can't remember exactly how many, but server caps have been increased. They've resolved issues with players remaining idle and taking up spots on the server, since this is an always online game. There is an idle timer now, and I feel like a lot of players may have fallen victim to that, just because you might not be used to it. I myself, I've been kicked out plenty of times because I forget to sign out. I'm guilty. I was part of the problem, and I'll own that. But to see the developers so frequently interacting with the community, especially on Discord and on Twitter. I don't use Twitter myself, but I see a lot of posts being shared from the developers there regarding the same things that they share in Discord about updates, about things to be wary of, what to watch out for, things that that they're working on fixing. I think is truly amazing. One thing that even stuck out to me that got passed around a lot, that you very well might have seen if you've been following this game at all, is when the CEO of the company said, "Our game is not working. If you don't want to deal with it, don't buy it until it's fixed." I think that's an amazing thing to say. If that was someone else from a couple other maybe not so reputable developers, they just tell you to go out and buy it. They'd say, "Yeah, go out and buy it. We'll have it fixed soon. Spend your money now. Get it full price, and before we put it on sale or something, give us your money. We'll have it fixed. I promise. I swear." And for him to come out and say that, just to, kind of actively encourage people that might not want to deal with those issues as they work through those kind of some of the run-of-the-mill bugs that ultimately come with a launch, I thought was extremely humble. They were aware of the issues, and they know that people were frustrated, and to actively tell people, hey, don't buy our game right now if you don't think you can deal with the issues. I don't think that it was meant in a facetious way, or to be insulting, to tell people, oh well, if you're being a baby, then don't buy our game. I think it was genuine. I really do, just based on the types of interactions that I've seen from those developers. I constantly see them taking feedback from the players, asking for bug reports, things like that, and it's just a great thing to see. Another thing that's happened is, with some of those bugs, with players not getting some of the in-game currency that they should get when they should be getting it, um, they've constantly made sure that players get what they're deserved. I can't tell you how many times that I've completed a daily challenge or some type of challenge or something, found something, and I didn't end up with the war bond medals that I needed, or I didn't get the requisitions that they said I was going to get. And the next day or a couple days from there, I see an update on Discord where, hey, all players should now have in their inventory, their ship, whatever you want to call it, the rewards that they were missing, and they're always there. So just seeing devs that are that active in making sure that the players get what they deserve, what they earned, is truly refreshing. I really don't know any other developer that I've seen be that active and that engaged in their community. And as I said, in this day and age where we see a lot of things like that happening, whether it's, bugs not being addressed properly, not listening to the players' concerns about what's going on, or ultimately just kind of disregarding players' feelings in general, absolutely a breath of fresh air to see how the developers have handled the issues that they've run into, and they have their sights set forward, not only on fixing the issues and making sure that the game gets into the most stable and playable state that it can be, but also ensuring that they continue to provide players with up-to-date content, new things to do, and of course, this being a live service game, they obviously have more things planned, and they've talked about that. They've talked about their plans for the future and what they want to add in to keep people playing this game, and I truthfully believe that they are going to meet those standards that they've set. I don't think they're just blowing smoke. I don't think they're giving us false promises. Just based on how they've handled the game so far, 100% truly refreshing. And as I said, I encourage you, if you're unaware of any of the things that have been going on, or any of the things that they've said, any of the things that have gone wrong or that they've fixed, go check out their Twitter, go check out the Discord for the game. Just do any search on social media, and I can guarantee that you'll find something with people praising them for the work that they've done. Of course, there's always going to be the naysayers that expect a game to be perfect when it's launched, and that's just not the case for anything. But the way that the Helldivers 2 devs have handled that is truthfully amazing. And I think that should be a lesson for all the other developers out there. If you want to see how you handle the launch of a game, and how you handle taking care of your audience and making sure that they get the product that they want and that they deserve for giving you their money, look to Helldivers 2. Look to these devs, and see how they've handled this, and use that as the standard. Use that for what you should aim for, to make sure that you are putting your studio in good graces. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Helldivers 2 is a live service game. And I'm going to be honest, I am really generally not a fan of live service games. I'm not a fan of limited time battle passes and FOMO and all that other shit that companies try to use, not only game developers, but any company. All that stuff that they try to use to get us to spend more money on premium currency and cosmetics and all that junk, right? But, guys, Arrowhead did this right. 100% right. I've seen multiple accounts, multiple people saying, and multiple people giving them praise for the way that they are handling their battle pass system. Now, You guys probably know, if you've played any other game that has a type of battle pass thing in it, whether it's a, whether it's an old game or a new game, right? We can even just look at two games that I've played in the last couple years that have those battle passes. Talk about Halo Infinite and talk about Call of Duty just in general. The the Modern Warfare series from the last couple years. When you play those games, that battle pass is always in your face. Now, I will give 343 some credit as well. They've gotten better with it, with all the changes that they've made over the over the past couple years. I think it's gotten a lot better. They've done things like keeping the battle passes open, just kind of changing which ones are active, or when they add a new one, you can change the battle pass that you're currently on. So kudos to them. Little credit to 343 there. But with Arrowhead, the way that they handled it, the way that they put this into Helldivers 2, I didn't even really realize that there was a battle pass, let alone that the premium one was there. So the way that it is, and the way that they utilize this battle pass, is that it's really like your main progression system for the game. It's how you're gonna unlock more armor, more emotes, more guns, upgrades, more things like that. And it's basically just presented as that. Like I said, it's the normal way to level up. And in a lot of games that utilize those battle passes, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of kind of like currency here and there, stuff like that. But with Helldivers 2, the war medals that you use to purchase things in the battle pass, that's one of the main things that you're going to get as rewards for completing hell dives or completing missions on the game. There is no shortage of them. There's absolutely no way, even if you play this game on the easiest difficulty, there is no way that you cannot get this premium currency to unlock whatever you want in the battle pass. And I think that's just fantastic. I jumped in when I got the game, and I got it on launch, and I was playing things and doing it and doing that, just doing hell dives, playing solo, playing in co-op when I could get a game to work. And I was just buying things. I was just getting them because I was getting these war medals. And it took me a minute to realize that, oh shit, this is the battle pass. This is this is the unlockable stuff. And some of it's cosmetic, some of it'll help you out, but this is just really the main way that you are meant to level up in this game. And along with that, alongside the normal one that everyone gets just for playing the game, they do have a premium battle pass that you can buy for the premium currency that they have in Helldivers is super credits. And super credits can be used in their kind of like cosmetic store, right, to buy different pieces of armor that they rotate through, or also if you spend 1,000 of them, you can unlock that premium battle pass. As of right now, just from me playing, I have not spent a cent over $40 on Helldivers 2. And not only have I bought probably 6 to 8 things off of the premium store with super credits, just that I've gotten from missions, because you do get super credits in missions. You can get them. They're kind of sprinkled throughout little extra things that you can find. Not only have I done that, but right now, at this point, because I haven't bought anything else, I have half of the super credits needed to unlock that premium battle pass. Now you could do it, right? You could go to the store and spend, I think it would be like $10 to unlock that premium battle pass, and then you just use the normal war bonds to buy things in there. But what they've done is they have made that premium battle pass that other developers would force you either to pay money for or to grind for, I mean, hundreds of hours possibly to unlock. They might not even make it unlockable that way. It might be locked behind that paywall. Arrowhead has not done that. They have made it completely feasible for you as a normal player, even if you have no extra money. If you play enough, if you play a respectable amount, you don't have to play that much, to unlock that premium content without having to give them any extra money. And that, I think, is just another testimonial to how well Arrowhead has designed this game and how well they've designed not only the gameplay itself, because it is fantastic in its own right by itself, but how they're looking out for the players and how they are wanting to extend and champion the longevity of this game. Because ultimately, when this one expires, I see them doing the exact same thing for future battle passes. There's going to be a standard one unlocked for everyone, and then there will probably be another one where, again, it's the same thing. It's a certain amount of super credits to unlock, and someone who plays the game enough or who's really good and can pull in that premium currency just by playing can unlock it without having to spend a cent. And as I said, I've seen a lot of people on different videos or on, social media, Reddit, Twitter, whatever, saying, I didn't even know this game had a premium battle pass or even a battle pass at all. I thought I was just unlocking stuff with what I got from the missions, because that's the way that it should be. A lot of people talk about in those battle passes, it makes the game feel like a job. And that's not what you want. You play video games to relax, to unwind, to have fun. You don't want to be hit with that FOMO and be afraid, oh, if I don't, complete this battle pass, I'm going to miss something and I'm never going to get it back. I'm never going to be able to unlock that again. I'm going to be behind in the game. That's not what you want from that type of content. And even so, the things that they have in the premium battle pass, if you look at it, nothing there is game breaking. It's just more kind of run-of-the-mill stuff. There's different cosmetic things in there. There's some things that give some different effects. There's some kind of crazy different guns you can use in there. There's like an incendiary shotgun. There's I think, an explosive assault rifle. But in their own right, they are not necessarily better than the basic guns in the normal battle pass. And that's great. That's what it should be for. It should be for cool cosmetics and, maybe some semi-different power-ups that, aren't necessarily better or worse than anything else that you can get just by playing the game. That battle pass, the normal one that's available right now, and the premium one, that's a perfect example of how to keep your player base involved and not make them alienate you because they feel like you're just, squeezing them for money. I have never felt that way, and I don't feel that way. When I look at that premium battle pass, I think about buying it. I think about dropping $10 on it just to, not only just to throw those devs, to throw Arrowhead some cash, but also just to get some of the stuff in there because it's kind of cool. Right now, as much as I'm playing, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm just going to see if I can clear enough to unlock it just by playing, but I don't have FOMO from that. I don't have, I'm not going to feel dirty if I were to buy any super credits to get something that I really want, because I have good weapons, I have good armor, I have good stratagems. I don't feel like I need to spend money to get better at Helldivers 2. And I think that's very much in contrast to the way that a lot of other devs run their battle passes. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people have noticed, and something that a lot of individuals, a lot of people playing the game have given Arrowhead credit for. And I myself, as I said, someone who really doesn't enjoy, live service games, really because of that battle pass thing. I'm not really about that. I think that's extremely, extremely refreshing to see. And just in terms of the live service in general, they're already looking at adding these things in here. I've seen feedback, them say that they're talking about adding in color customization internally, talking about, vehicles, talking about new factions being added in, talking about new weapons and, just overall different gameplay elements, adding in their battle masters that they've talked about. And they already have this roadmap that once they get all these bugs sorted out that, the game launched with and that came about because of player counts and things, they obviously have those things in the works already, and we're going to see them. I can't wait until they put out, those first major updates just to show that, hey, we are going to remain true to our word, because I think that's going to change a lot of people's mind who might be on the fence about Helldivers 2, either questioning the longevity or not questing. I mean, we are questing. We're on a quest to spread some damn liberty, but questioning, hey, what are these devs really going to do once they're really cooking? Are we going to see these updates come out? And seeing them already talk about things like that is great to see. a lot of people have been burnt on live service games like that before. We as players have been burnt on things like that. Again, not necessarily me, because I don't play the live service stuff a lot. But I've got immense faith in Arrowhead that they're going to keep up the quality of the base game they've launched and really give us what we're expecting in terms of new content, new things to do, new armor, whatever you might think it is. Definitely think they've got a lot that they're cooking with, and we're going to see that develop over the next coming months, possibly over, the next couple of years, depending on what they think the life cycle for this game is going to be. So I've been talking a lot about behind the scenes stuff, right? We've talked about kind of the launch of Helldivers 2, support from the devs, what that looks like from a community standpoint, and everything that they've offered us and how we've been treated as players, and then how they're handling kind of their in-game economy, right? And the extras that are provided to the players and kind of what they expect or what they offer to us, I guess. But all of that might not be important to you. You might just look at video games and say, I don't give a crap about what the devs say or what the devs do. I don't care really about the support. It all comes down to, is the game fun? Abso-fucking-lutely it's fun. What, are you crazy? Are you high? Have you seen this fucking game? It's amazing. It's fucking fantastic. Do you like Starship Troopers? Fuck yeah, you probably do. You'll fucking love it. Do you not know what the hell Starship Troopers is? That's okay, man. You'll probably love it too. You know why? Because you can blow shit up. Who doesn't want to blow shit up? But I digress. Helldivers 2 is a perfect example of accessibility, stupid, easy fun, or the most tactical, team-based shit that you could ever imagine. That's a bit of an overstatement, but it can be as fun or as hard as you want it to be. And I am not a person who's always, or ever really, talked about accessibility in video games as far as difficulty goes. One of my favorite series, and honestly probably my favorite video game developer, is From Software, notoriously famous or infamous, depending on which side of the aisle you're on, for the no difficulty settings, right? And I think that's fine. I think that's perfect. But something like Helldivers 2 and the way that Arrowhead's designed it, the difficulty system is perfect. It's great. There's a total of, I believe it's 12 different difficulty levels, all the way from, I think the easiest one is called Trivial, and then I think the top difficulty is actually called Helldive. I'd have to fact check myself on that, but I'm not going to. It's something like that, 1 up to 12, right? And that's a fantastic progression system. When I first started playing, I didn't go for Trivial. I went on easy just to kind of get my bearings. Played like 1 or 2. I got this. Moved up to the next one, which I think is medium, so on and so forth, right? The guys that I play with right now, the people that I play with, we're up to like challenging, where we can do those levels pretty easy. And there's a metric crap ton of people out there who are on Helldive. They're constantly running the hardest difficulty. And that's great. That just shows that this game and what it is, the way it was designed, it wasn't really designed for one difficulty. They've done a great job progressing those difficulties, because you can tell each way you jump up, it's a little bit more of a challenge. And the more that you play on one level, eventually you're going to get to the point where, whether you're running it solo or whether you're running it with a team, you're going to move up to that next level and you're going to gain that comfortability depending on your skill level. But there's no real incentive to go past a certain level unless you want that challenge, right? Challenging is the first level where you can access the highest tier of samples, which is another upgrade material that they use in the game. And sure, if you went on a higher difficulty, you would see more of those, I think they're ultra rare samples. But challenging, or not challenging, shit, I forget which one it is. Is it Suicide Mission? I don't remember. Whatever, doesn't matter. There's a level where they start, and then there's just more, the higher levels that you get to, right? So after that point, if you're not having a good time, and you just want to get those ultra rares, it might take you a little bit longer, but you can do it with your team or solo, whatever you're doing. So the only incentive to go higher is if you're one of those people who you want that challenge, you want to play tactically, you want to openly communicate with everyone in your team and work together and build out your stratagems, your call-ins to complete that mission. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Not necessary to enjoy the game. And I think that's great. That's awesome. That'll get a lot of people who are, kind of more casual gamers into this because they don't have to jump into something that is extremely hard. If they just want to go in and bulldoze something, hey man, go to trivial, go to easy. Have the time of your life, call in all the explosives, hellfire and armaments that you want to. It's going to be a good time. You're going to get to blow stuff up and feel like a god. Do you want to feel like a peon being crushed beneath a bug or robot god's feet? Crank the difficulty up, baby. There you go. Amazing use of a difficulty system. And then just in general, the gameplay itself is extremely fun. The way that the game is set up is you can either run solo, you can run with a partner, teams of 1 to 4. You get dropped on a planet with a certain objective, and typically you have between like 10 to 40 minutes, most of the time it's 40, to complete those objectives and then extract. Now, with that, obviously, if you play with a team, it's going to be a little bit easier. And you use these, I guess you could call them, they're not really power-ups, but they're kind of armaments that you can call in, split into different categories based on what they are, if they're, offensive, defensive, or tactical. And that's where it comes in on, if you're playing on a higher difficulty level, you're going to need to communicate with your team to make sure that you're evenly spread and that you have all the extras that you need. You have all the stratagems. That's the official, name for what they call it in game. And using those stratagems is so satisfying. With the system that they have that you need to use on controller, on PlayStation, it's the D-pad. You need to input specific order of buttons to call in those stratagems, or even just to do certain tasks within the game. I think that system is amazing. It's so satisfying to call that in, and after a while of you using your favorite stratagems, you're going to have that shit memorized. And it's so satisfying when, if you have a certain person on your team who just knows when they need to use a certain thing and what it can do. Hearing them call that in, or you being the person to call that in after entering that input, it scratches that itch in your brain, like, releases that dopamine. It's such a good feeling. And none of them feel extremely overpowered. They all have their place. They all have the right situation where they're effective. I play with, a couple different people, right? A couple of my friends, and some of them tend to lean more towards the defensive stratagems because that's what works for them. It fits their gameplay style. Some of them lead more towards the offensive style. Kind of like me. I like to run in there. I run light armor. I like to run in, kind of grab some aggro, and then use those offensive stratagems to take out the enemies while I've got buddies back there using an anti-material rifle and mortars to kind of support me from afar. And we communicate that. We know what we're using. We know when we're using it. We know when to get the hell out of the way. Because I haven't mentioned this yet, but listen, guys, friendly fire is always on. So you've got to communicate that. Can't tell you how many times I've been killed by my own stratagems or one of my buddy's stratagems. And you know what? It's always funny. It's always a good time. Arrowhead has made such a fun game with Helldivers 2, just in terms of even gameplay, not even considering how they've handled it, what they've done so far, or what they plan to do. Helldivers 2 is amazingly fun. I could spend, another probably 10 minutes going through all of the different gameplay aspects and mechanics and features of the game. But they just all work so well, whether it's healing, the gun system, the armor system, the stratagems, whatever it might be, it all just works. And I'm not here to, praise every little gameplay feature, but talking about the gameplay as a whole, Arrowhead has taken all these individual pieces of truthfully unique gameplay elements and mechanics and just put them together to make this beautiful puzzle that results in this crazy, stupidly fun, just session of explosions and fire and screaming and laughing. Helldivers 2 is the most fun that I have had in a multiplayer game probably since 2012. Playing like Modern Warfare 2, or I think back to the days of playing the original Modern Warfare trilogy, of playing Halo 3, of playing Halo Reach and ODST. And that's what this reminds me of. Not necessarily in the actual gameplay aspect, but just in the amount of fun that I'm having with the people I'm playing it with. Or even if I'm playing it by myself, I think it's extremely fun. Even if you would in that way consider it a single player game. I love it. I'm not gonna champion over some other single player games that I've played in that time, but as far as multiplayer goes, even something that's just co-op, this is the top of the list for me. Bet I can't think of another game that I've played in probably 10 years that has captivated me like this, and has kept me coming back to it, and has provided me with so much fun consistently. So from a gameplay perspective, guys, just talking about the experience that they've designed and what that means in terms of fun, guys, it's crazy fun. It's damn fun, and it has that replayability. I think I've got 90 some hours on this game so far. Not counting some idle time, it's probably around like 75 maybe, and I still want to go back to it. I'm getting ready to go back to it right now because it's damn fun. Arrowhead did an amazing job, and I believe and I hope that they keep that consistency up with all of the new things that they're going to add into the game. Well, guys, as I said, I could continue going deeper and deeper into every single element of Helldivers 2 and talking about why I think it's great, why I think it's amazing, but that would probably end up with me making a 2-hour long video, and I just don't know if I'm into that right now. I would love to do it, but I really want to get something out there, kind of just expressing my thoughts on this and talking about why I think Helldivers 2 is such an important lesson for anyone in the video game industry, or as I said, even us as players, being accustomed to and realizing what we should expect from the people that are making these games. We talked about how the developers have handled everything from the start of the game being a little bit rocky, to implementing those fixes as quick as possible, to how they're handling their battle pass and their progression system. Touched on kind of the roadmap that they have a little bit. Didn't go into any specifics, but there's information out there. You can see that if you look up what the developers have been talking about on social media. And I really briefly just kind of covered the gameplay aspect, but I'm sure that you've been overloaded with information about how great Helldivers 2 is. I mean, you can see the player counts, you can see the people singing its praises up and down the aisles. It's insane. This is kind of my first attempt. I am a really big fan of kind of long form videos and video essays, and this is the first one really that I've kind of stuck with and finished till the end. I have a plethora of unfinished projects that are sitting on my computer, so if you've made it this far, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I just do this for fun. I love everything about video games, whether it's the development aspect of it, or what we get to experience as the players, or anything else that goes into the games in between. And I just wanted to, create this and share it out there. In case anyone was curious about Helldivers 2, or if anyone is really into kind of the state of what video games have been looking like in 2024 and for the past couple years. It's been aside from a couple shining stars, it's been a little grim, right? Nothing has really kind of blown up, aside from a few big games. At least that's the way I feel. But yeah, as I said, if you've made it this far, thank you guys very much for watching. If you have opinions on Helldivers 2 and you want to share them, I'd be glad to read them and glad to know what you think. as I said, I think that Helldivers 2, from every aspect at this point, is an amazing game, and I really hope that the shockwaves that Arrowhead's created with this game and with its success are going to have an effect on the industry. I hope that some of the other companies out there that are making games and that we're kind of being disappointed with when they come out, I hope they look to this and they see that we know what a good game is, we know who good developers are, and we are willing to give them our attention, to give them our hard-earned money, and to provide support for their games, whether it's financially or just speaking well about them to people that we know, or just spreading the good word of them in general. But yeah, guys, that is it for me and this video on Helldivers 2, everything it's done right, and why this is a standard that we should be looking for. Again, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and hopefully I see you next time. Peace out.